Well, good morning, everybody. Today I am in Welch, Oklahoma, and I'm going to teach you guys a little bit about real estate photography. It's about 9:53 a.m. The sun is just now coming up over here, and we're going to talk about this little house that we're going to take some photos of. We're going to talk about things like where it's light, the daytime, the location, how the wind is, the lighting, the atmosphere, what it is. It's a little different than doing like professional outdoor photography, but it's still a trade and something that is worth learning. This is going to be for a realtor company that I have developed a nice relationship with, and I'm going to be doing interior and exterior and drone photography. So let's jump into it. So the first thing you want to know is you want to see how the property behaves with outdoor lighting. So looking at the house, you can notice you have a lot of shade right here in the front. The sun is coming from that direction, got a beautiful farm field on the far right. And we got this little stretch down here. So when you're doing photos of a property, there's sometimes you got to take in consideration of what it's going to do and how it's going to look with the lighting and in reference to the scenery and everything around you. It's not a bad neighborhood, but there is some areas where it becomes a little bit of an eyesore. So let's see what we can do. So right off the get-go, when we're looking at this property, as you can see, we have this big tree right here that's in the center of the yard, and it kind of blocks how the door looks, okay? So if we change the outcome of the angle of which we take our photo to something a little more like this, we still get that on front of the house type of shot, but at the same time, we're able to show where the viewpoint needs to be. In the viewpoint, we want the person who is looking at the photo to look at where they go and the entry point of the home, and then also show off where the garage is at, and then where those additional windows for excellent lighting coming into those areas. So we want to show those type of things, and we also want to show how much of a backyard it has. So judging by what we're seeing right now, I'm going to hold off on the drone just a little bit and allow that sun to come a little above the property so we can get a really nice shot without having all the shadows here. But I am going to go ahead and start on the interior photos. So let's jump in and let's get started on that. Okay, so here I am opening up the house, and the first thing that I try to do is just look at the space. I try to see how the layout is and how the light is affecting every room from the outside. So in order to do that, you open up all the windows and you take a look at the room and you just see how it's behaving in that space. Here I am opening up the blinds. I noticed that there was this weird coaxial cable on the floor, so I went ahead and tidied that up and let the curtain kind of hide it, because in reality we don't want to show where that's at. It makes the picture looks kind of dirty and so forth. I noticed there's a unique fireplace, so I wanted that light to be kind of a focal point. So I took the blinds that were right there and kind of pivoted the light so it shined directly into that, highlighting that specific space. I also go ahead and flip on the light switches in all the rooms, whether it be a living room, a den, or an office space. And here I am just opening things up, seeing how it behaves. Go ahead and go up to the second floor, just kind of see and notice there's a bathroom on the right there. All these homes, especially the older ones, they have these unique different things in little spaces. So I try to really understand where everything is at so that when I take the photos, I know which order I need to go and how to do it. And I swear these floors made noise every time I step. Promise you I'm not breaking them. I then went inside the kitchen, and this kitchen I noticed wasn't quite ready for photos. So I was like, I'm gonna have to clean this up, tidy it up. I know the guy's been busy trying to get the property ready to be put on the market. So I just went ahead and helped out, kind of cleaned it up, put all the cleaning supplies down, went ahead and took the mop, the broom, swept a little bit. And then I also went ahead and put some dishes and pots away where they can't really see, and make sure the countertops are nice and clear. The natural light that's coming in the room is unbelievable, so I was like, I really want to capitalize this and I don't want to show it. So did that. Sometimes you have to do it. I also do a final walkthrough, and as I was doing my final walkthrough, I realized that I left some paint sticks and some paint cans out that needed to be put back downstairs in that laundry room's basement area. So it's time to go ahead and do photos. So here I am pulling out the Pixelmagic. This is a Lumix G9. This is the Mark 1. And it's a great camera. I'm using the Mica 7.5 wide and fisheye with the 2.8 f-stop. The Lumix G9 notices it's a manual prime lens, so it was make sure that I had the appropriate focal length done. And I'm gonna go ahead and set it up
for this room and see how it behaves. Whenever you set up a camera, it's important to set it up to where the shadows are kind of obliterated a little bit, but you're still be able to maintain detail and enough light. So I'm shooting at ISO 800, shutter speed is set at 250, and my f-stop is all the way down to 2.8. White balancing is kind of designed for the like you're in the shade and you're taking that, because we're getting different type of shadows and stuff like that and the different color of lighting. So this kind of is a nice little flat platform. So here I am right here, gonna go ahead and take the first shot, which is that beautiful fireplace, and it just looks gorgeous. The light, just perfect time, great shot, looks phenomenal. Now you notice how I got down low. We call that the door handle height shot, and that's the shot that you want to go when you take a photo. This is me kind of a little frustrated at how tight it is and how crammed it is in that space, but I found an area where I can showcase both the back door and the fridge, kind of the entry. And I'm sitting here, I'm just looking my eyes visually, because what we see on our vocal view, I guess you could say it, not vocal, focal viewpoint is 120 degrees, and this lens hits 110 degrees field of view. So I just needed to make sure that what I was seeing is I could see in the lens. I noticed that unique little picture spot, and I was like, hey, maybe I could do that, and I was just messing around. So here I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to do the photo, because there's this unique little bump out right here. It's the closet space, and it creates some issues when trying to take the photo. So I wound up going all the way back and taking a photo of the front door and the hallway right there, and this is the shot, and that's how it looked. It looked really good. And then I was like, hey, let me try to get a shot from this couch looking at that gorgeous little fireplace right here, kind of like how I have the camera set up. But then when I realized, looking at it, that bump wall right there, that for that coat closet just didn't work, and it wasn't doing well. So I was like, I'm just gonna go to the front door. So I went by the front door and took a shot right there. Worked out great, looks nice, and did the job. Next is to go upstairs. So here I'm adjusting the camera settings because the hallway is really dark. That little up landing area right there is dark, shadow. So I bumped up the ISO and I brought down the shutter speed so I can allow more light in. And honestly, it turned out better than I thought it was going to be. Usually sometimes I have to blow out, or I have to use a flash or another source of light to really brighten up space, but it worked out just fine. Here is that bathroom, and it is super tiny. When I'm talking tiny, I swear I could barely fit inside this thing as it is. And I was like, how am I going to get in here and take photos with my camera, let alone try to line it up to where you could see everything? So try to figure out how I was going to do that, trying to think it through, and then I was like, well, I guess I'm just gonna have to do it. So I went to, again, doorknob height, set it, lined it all up. I had to change the white balance for this specific photo because we had this blue light and we had these yellow lights, so I just adjusted it a little bit. Here's the shower shot. Then I went and I sat in the shower. Now be careful when you do this. You don't want to slip, you don't want to fall, you don't want to do anything like that, and you want to make sure that you aren't going to damage anywhere where you're sitting. So I can get the reversal shot of showing the vanity and the toilet right there. Now it's time for the first bedroom, so I went inside that bedroom, and I loved the amount of natural light that was coming in the space. It was beautiful, it looked great. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and take this photo. It turned out great, didn't have any issues whatsoever, it looked gorgeous. This bedroom also has a bathroom, excuse me, but this bathroom is even smaller than the other one. That's me standing here, and I am wall to wall with it right now. So I was like, holy cow, how am I gonna take these photos? Not only that, the color of that light, you can see it yourself. It is literally orange. So I was like, maybe I could do this one photo, nope, two. So I'm using the flash for this one. The flash kind of cancels out that orange light, but we're able to maintain those beautiful colors. So that is what I did. So here's the first shot, and then the second one, and we're all done. Yeah, it was a tight space. And here we go, the second bedroom. This one wasn't as challenging. It's just like the other bedrooms. You know, it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house. So I took cable, kind of wrapped it down. That was hanging inside of the blinds right there. Cleaned up a little bit of the blinds there before taking the photo and just lined it up. It's important for any photographer when you're doing real estate photos that you make sure that the space looks in order and it's welcoming for the viewer. Otherwise, it's just not going to do that well, and it's not going to perform that great either. And so just make sure that you always do your best, regardless of the type of house or the style or, you know, its quirkiness. You want to do your best no matter what. And that's what That's what I've always done. Doesn't matter if it's a $60,000 listing or a $700,000 listing or a $5 million listing. You want to do your best. Here I am trying to get a shot of the hallway right here, and the hallway was challenging because there was 3 different light sources. I'm not even joking. There was like a yellow light source, a white light source, a daylight source. It was just really weird. So I was like, maybe I can get this shot, and it just didn't turn out. So well, fortunately don't have anywhere to show you on that one. I just wound up deleting the photo later. So now we're all done. I'm gonna go ahead and lock up upstairs. I am closing all the blinds, all the curtains, because obviously no one lives in the home. We don't want people to try to break in and take stuff, and plus I want to leave it the same way I found it. So that's my exiting procedure, just shutting down, getting things put away so I can go ahead and go to the basement. Now down in the basement, all that stuff that I took from the kitchen, I just put on the floor because I was in a hurry to take photos, and now I gotta take a photo of that area. So I just tidied it up, cleaned it back up, and grabbed the camera and took a shot of the laundry room downstairs. Now, because of the time that I was doing it, the natural light that was coming in was absolutely beautiful. You know, speaking of quirky things, finding light switches. That's always a challenge in different properties. So there it is. That's what it looked like in that photo. Went in the garage, and the garage was kind of weird. It had different areas inside of it that was zoned off, but you know, hey, it was a cool space. I could definitely see working on some tools or some bikes or some go-karts here. It was been really cool. So I used the flash for these photos because of how much unnatural light we were getting, and that just helped. And we're done with this space. So now it's time to go outside. So we're all done taking pictures of the inside of the house, and now it's time to get pictures of the outside of the house. Now the owner just got here and he's finishing up a couple things on the property, but I'm gonna go ahead and show you what we're doing. All right, so I'm using the STM 12 to 50 millimeter lens that came with the Lumix G9, and it doesn't have the greatest lowest f-stop. In fact, it's a f3.5, but it works just fine for what we're trying to do here. We want to get a nice wide shot, but we don't want to make it like a fisheye type of shot for this type of scene. So I got my front photo the same way that we discussed earlier at the beginning of the video, and then I got the side property. I also try to get the additional buildings that come with the property. So you have this really cool shed, you know, a gazebo, a fire pit, or anything like that. And then I try to get the full size of the back property. So I'm on the left side of the property in the rear, taking a shot to where you can see the back of the shed and that back door entry. The neighbor's dogs were getting mad at this point, and they didn't like that I was, you know, encroaching onto the neighbor's property, but I needed to get the shot. So I went ahead and backed up in the corner, got the shot. The house was beautiful right there with the blue sky and everything. The picture doesn't do it justice. I also try to get unique features like this little part. This is like could be like a day porch where you can drink a coffee and stuff like that, but it was kind of a mess, so it didn't really work. Now it's time for the drones. Now different states and different areas have requirements, so make sure you're insured, licensed to fly these drones, and that you're flying the appropriate drone for this time. I typically try to do different photos. You got your top photo that I do of the property, your rear backyard. I try to do where it is in the neighborhood, and then where it is in the city or where it is in relative to that space. So that's everything, guys. I tried my best to tell you everything I can about this. If you found that this helped you and it helped you understand how to do a little bit better on real estate photography, if you find that this is helpful to you, make sure you like and subscribe, because I'll have another video talking about how we edited those photos and also additional properties that are going through. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Thank you guys. Make sure you follow to learn more, and I'll catch you on the next one.